We all want to do more of the things that we love, whether that's lifting heavy weights, running, hiking, or even just wrestling around with our kids in the pool. That's why we train. But sometimes we don't know how to do it appropriately, and we fall into the idea of more is better. But let's talk a little bit more about what your body can tolerate and how to train smarter. So let's take a quick look at this graph. It plots stress versus time. Now, oftentimes we think about stress as something that should be avoided at all times, but it's not. It is just something that your body has to endure. It could be mental or emotional, how we typically think of stress, but it could also be physical stress, like working out, which is what we need to endure to get better at things. So if we take a look at this chart, our blue line here is our capacity. That is what we are capable of doing at any given time. Ideally, when we're training, that line should increase. That should go up so that we can do more things. So let's take a look at what happens as we do more things, plotted by our stress line. As we do more and more activity and get closer to what our capacity actually is, we adapt to it. We get a little bit better and we push that capacity upwards and we're able to do more. That is the ideal situation for our training. But just like our capacity can go up, it can also go down. So let's take a look at a couple other scenarios. Let's say we're really not doing anything at all to challenge ourselves. And our activity level, that stress that we're putting on our body, stays really low. Well, your body's going to adapt to that too. Over time, that capacity is going to come down to meet what you're asking it to do. It works in both directions. So let's talk about more is better. If we can push that line up, if we do more, we should be able to push it up faster, right? Not necessarily. As we increase our activity level really, really quickly, we run the risk of outpacing our capacity, where we might be here. If we're there for a short period of time, we outpace our capacity, but then we recover and come back under, then you're probably going to be okay. You probably are going to raise that capacity up to do more. But let's say we don't rest and instead we just keep pushing, trying to do more and more and more. That's where we run into trouble. That's where we end up having injury after a little bit of compensation. We end up down here in pain and dysfunction, where we just can't tolerate as much stress on those tissues or on your body in general. So ideally what we want to be doing is that first scenario where we figure out where is close to our capacity so that we can improve it without running the risk of getting injured or overworked. We call that our minimum effective dose. What's the minimum we need to do to get better at something? Where we can push up on that capacity and slowly continue to improve over time. Because over time, being able to consistently train is going to get you a lot further than trying to do too much at once and potentially crossing your capacity threshold and ending up injured. We also have to consider that stress is cumulative. It's easy for us to think about the physical stress, the training that we do, as something completely separate from the mental stress and emotional stresses of our lives. But your body aggregates those together. It doesn't, in the end, know the difference between a really hard workout, a really stressful day at work, a fight with your partner, really bad sleep. All of those things get added together. So we have to keep that in consideration when we're training, that our capacity is going to be a little bit different because our stress is a little bit different. We might not be able to train as hard when we're really stressed out or we haven't been sleeping well. Or if we're feeling really, really great and everything's firing on all cylinders, those are the days where you can probably push a little bit harder. So instead of thinking about what's the most that I can do right now, think about how can I stay consistent over time to get the most growth over time? What's the minimum that I need to do to get better now so I can tolerate doing it again tomorrow and the next day? And as long as you want to be able to do it. That's how we get better, and that's how we maintain longevity.